Madison, what's up? My name is Steven. I'm a Madison resident. I live on the east side of town in a 2,000 square foot ranch house. It's a simple matchbox with a detached garage. We got upstairs 1,000 square feet, 1,000 downstairs square feet. I'm finishing the basement right now. We paid $205,000 for this house back in, I think, 2019. And to put it bluntly, my house is better than your house. It's better. Kind of like a my dad can beat up your dad thing. My house is better than yours. Your house might be bigger, more expensive. You might have a nicer driveway, a nicer view, a nicer finishes, blah, 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 blah. My house is safer. My house is healthier. And my house is more comfortable. But the biggest reason why my house is better than your house is because I have something that you don't have. In my house, I have control. I can control my indoor environment like that. Let me give you an example. Lately in Madison, we've been getting all this smoke coming down from Canada, right? Like the air quality index when you go to like a weather channel or something, or when they say it on the news, is like, 200, 300, it's like in like the yellow, orange, and red ranges, like really unhealthy to go outside. Stay inside, right? At-risk populations can have respiratory issues, coughing and wheezing. It's like all this little particulate smoke little stuff that you can't even see, like you're breathing it in. It's so small, like goes right into your bloodstream and stuff, like not healthy. Like don't go out and put yourself in that situation. Well, meanwhile, when it was 300 outside, right? What was it in my house? 2. It was 2. The air quality index in my house is a 2, and it's 300 outside. What's going on? What am I doing to allow me to have that level of health in my indoor environment when it's 300 outside? The main thing that I'm doing in my house that you're not doing to the same extent is I'm doing filtration. Now, before I talk about that, let me talk about air sealing and air tightness. And here's the one thing I want you to remember. You can't control the air in your home unless you can first contain the air. You can't control your child if they're, 3 blocks over at their friend's house. They have to be like within your area where you can tell them what to do or lead by example or blah, blah, blah. All right? If your house is a pool of air, you have to first contain the water in the pool before you can put in all the chemicals and, get to the right pH levels and blah, 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 blah. All right? You have to contain the air by air sealing the whole house, and then you can manipulate the air or condition the air how you want it. My house, my retrofit house, my house is from 1957. I have the tightest retrofit probably in the state of Wisconsin. My blower door number is like a 365, and I've got a 2,000 square foot house. That's like ridiculous. That's like really tight. Not passive house standards, but it's really, really good. So you want a tight house. And the tight house enables you then to contain the air so that you can manipulate it. Now let's move and let's talk about filtration and mixing. All right, moving on now to talk about filtration, how I have great filtration and your filtration is not as good as mine. So the main thing that does the filtration in your houses is the filter that's on your HVAC equipment. So HVAC stands for heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. And the furnace is usually sitting downstairs in your basement, all right? Now, there's a filter in the return side of that furnace, and that filter filters the air. But it only filters the air when the system is running. And most of your houses have got oversized equipment, which means the equipment does not run very often. And the filtration only happens when the system is running. So, first of all, you need to get rid of your oversized equipment and get properly sized stuff. And when your system is not running, the air stagnates and stratifies just like this. This is a balsamic vinaigrette dressing, and you can see the oil up on top and the vinegar down below. And this is what happens when you don't have mixing. You get stratification and no cleaning or filtration. In my house, it's like this. all the time. My system constantly runs at a very low speed to give constant mixing and filtration. Now let's talk about filtration for a second. Over at the big box stores in town, you'll see those little 1-inch filters. They cost like, $8 or something. And that does not provide nearly as good as filtration as something like this. This is a 4-inch thick media filter, okay? These things are like $25 or $30, like a MERV 11 or MERV 13, blah, blah, blah. And they filter out a lot of the crap in your house. You can see how dark it is there. And if I were to stretch out all these pleats, this gives me a lot more surface area so that a lot more filtration can happen when I have a deeper filter here, okay? The deeper filter allows for more surface area, which increases the amount of cleaning on your system. Now, this is a 16 by 25 filter. This is better. Everyone should have at least one of these. I went a step further. I went from a 16 by 25 air filter to a 28 by 31 air filter. That gives me 868 square inches of filtration in my 2,000 square foot house. Guys, that kicks butt. I don't have UV lights, ionizers, lasers, those Febreze things around the house to make your house smell good that are just masking a bigger problem. Ozone creators, blah, 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 the latest gizmos and gadgets. And good luck finding third parties that can actually verify that those things actually do what they say, okay? Go back to basics. You want good filtration and mixing of the air. That's why my house is better than yours. I have better indoor air quality, and that's the result of having a tight house and having constant mixing and filtration with a kick butt filter that's properly sized.